me in this position tonight.
Yeah, but
bottom 4.
Yeah, but babe, you're here for a reason. A little bit of headbutting.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black But 91. Listen, King's Court, episode 5, season 1. Crazy. I want to say this first and foremost. Tyson's an interesting person, as I've said before. I think Tyson isn't allowing himself to go very deep with the ladies because I think he struggles to do that. But what was interesting today on this episode is the way that some of the ladies reacted. So Sara having a beef with Felicia, and I said, wait, Sara. I said, what has made Sara feel so confident that she can behave in this way? And I started to recognize that, okay, maybe Tyson has fueled that. Maybe Tyson's a part of that. But maybe also she's got a bit of arrogance as well, right? Because when they first brought up the issue around the list, Sara was one of the people that was like, I'm not going to be on the list. I'm not going to do that. And now listen, I hear it. Sara's a high-class ended babe, it looks like, okay? But one thing you got to know is the program is the program, okay? Get with it or get out of there. Now, here's my thing about Tyson. I honestly think that, listen, she could be a great person that will challenge you, but she'll also annoy you. She'll challenge you, but you'll get annoyed very soon, and you want to do your own thing. And so my thing is this, right? In that, my thing is that, I think Tyson likes that game. Tyson likes that woman that can't be quote unquote tamed. And my thing is this: I'm looking at Sara and I'm going, baby girl, listen. This ain't the one you want to be involved with. This man here wants to play games. And it looks like Sara wants to win this game amongst the other ladies to be chosen. And I'm like, do you know what? You two actually might be made for each other. Okay? You might be made for each other in that particular space. But it was interesting to kind of see how they behaved in this episode.
And if you want to send me home for that, because I can't have a thought around here, then that's good.
I'm not saying you can't have a thought, but it's all in the way that you
present it. I know.
Now let's pause it right there. Let's. I think a little bit of this manipulation from her. I think it's a little bit of his behavior too. I mean, he's been manipulative in other ways, but the fact that she was like, oh, if I can't have a thought, what? Who said you can't have a thought? And I said, oh, she ran straight to there. I said, sir, you might want to leave this one alone. Leave this one alone. Because when someone runs to a thought, when he's, what the issue was around her saying about the fact that Felicia is saying that, my man, right? Now, if she's saying that, that's on Felicia. Does it mean it's true? That doesn't mean it's true. That should have been a conversation. She could have had a conversation with Felicia and asked her. I agree to Tyson on that respect, right? That's what she was saying with you ladies, trying to get you out of pocket. And now you are out of pocket. And now you're in the bottom. Okay? All right? So what these ladies are doing, listen, because they feel like they've won already. Listen, until the fat lady sings, it's not over. You know what I'm saying to you? If you don't like it, get out of competition. I personally don't want to be in a situation where someone's doing that. So, okay, cool, then I don't need to be there. You know what I mean? But you've chosen to stay there.
A little smart, aren't you?
I don't care because it's
you don't
crazy.
Care? Okay.
Yeah,
it's spicy.
It's crazy.
It's spicy. Do you have a problem with her saying that I'm her man?
Now, let me pause this as well. I want to say this as well. I don't like the fact that she gets to be called spicy. There's nothing freaking spicy about this. I want to call it out for what it actually is. It's not spicy, okay? It's slightly aggressive. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry. We're not gonna get away with it because she's not a black woman. And I don't want to make it a race thing, but it is a race thing. Okay, right? The fact is, there was nothing spicy about this. There was nothing spicy, and I'm not even saying she did anything necessarily crazy. But this isn't spicy. What? Because she decided to come to you and tell you about the fact that another woman was calling her out. What's spicy about this? We call behaviors that shouldn't be called spicy. These are the kind of behaviors we should be calling out. And I don't mean that in a worse way, but in the sense of not labeling it spicy so someone else gets away with it. Because someone else is going to come out who's a black woman is going to do the exact same thing. It's not spicy. At that point, it's not spicy. It's going to be, oh, she's aggressive, she's this, she's that. And I was like, I'm looking at them like, bro, like, and this is how you perpetuate bad behaviors. Because old girl should have addressed this with Felicia, not with you. We saw the exact same thing with the girl that was with Carlos. Same kind of behavior. Okay?
When you say I'm your man too, why didn't you go to her and say, hey, I don't like this?
I'm not
Listen
talking to any of you guys anymore. Like, I'm not going to talk to her at all. So it's not going to be a problem.
So you're not talking to me?
So now she says she's throwing a tantrum. Like, she's a grown woman. She's now throwing a tantrum. If you want to call this spicy, I'm going to call it what it is. It's a tantrum. It's manipulative. It's like a child. Okay? All right? It's a tantrum. It's like a child. Call it out for what it actually is. Okay? All right? This was a tantrum. I'm not going to talk to you and all other people. What do you mean? You're grown. What do you mean you're not going to talk to anybody over here? You're in a competition, babe. I'm not going to talk to you no more. What? Okay, go home. Go home. Because why are we here?
You know what?
I might not, because you're really just being so, like, making things out of nothing.
I'm not making things out of
I'm the
nothing.
worst of all the girls in this house. I'm the one that should be in elimination after everything between you and I.
And so now she's inferring, I'm the worst. I'm the one that's doing it. And it's like, babe, he told you the reason why you're here. You're here, okay? You're here because you've decided to have a beef with another woman because she said that I'm her man. And then he actually says, you've also said the exact same thing too. If you got a beef with Felicia, take it up with Felicia. Yes, she is Elsid. She's trying to control him. And she's going to find out, like everybody else does, that you may think you've got him locked and he's going to do this. And this is where I say that people need to be accountable. Someone like Tyson, no offense to what I'm seeing, is not ready for a relationship. He's not even close to being ready for a relationship. Someone like Sara, it feels like, I'm not saying she has, it feels like she's a very astute, very smart, and very self-aware in some aspects. She knows how to get men to wrap around her finger. It feels like that. I feel like she thinks that she's got Tyson on the ropes a little bit and that she can get him to do what she wants. Tyson is one of the most deadliest persons I've seen because Tyson is like, he acts like he's a kid. So it's like, oh, I've got him wrapped around my finger. The only reason why he's wrapped around your finger is because he wants to be wrapped around your finger so he can squeeze you. You've mistaken it. You've mistaken it. That's the game that Tyson's involved in. That's why I say that Tyson's more deadly than most people I've seen. Because you think you're getting him. You think you're controlling him, but he wants to be wrapped around your finger. Yes, so long as I'm attached to you. Meanwhile, he's making moves with Jennifer. Okay, yeah, I think that's a better way of saying it, Elsid. I think that's a better way of saying it. She knows her that her preference. Yeah, she knows that she's a preference. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, and this is me, honest. Like, I've seen some wild things with this preference talk in terms of what I've actually experienced. There are some people, not all, there are some people who generally actually, because they are black men's preference, they have some wild ass behaviors. You know what I'm saying to you? There are some people like that too. So I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna try and downplay it.
Well, it does feel like that because of everything you say to me. No.
Come on.
You don't need to be so happy that you put me in this position.
No.
My thing is, like I said, I think inevitably this situation needs to die out, bro. Okay, at the end, you know, I think I'm not gonna say she likes to play games, but I'm gonna say that, you know, he's clever, he knows what he's doing, but she also doesn't like the competition. But like I said, listen, you know, I think this is even, if you watch this situation, he's even interested in it.
There's not one bad one in the bunch.
We got it, guys.
Don't be too rough, you guys.
Yeah.
I know how Tyson operates.
My man is not her match. I want you to understand something. Tyson is not this girl's match. The girl that he's sitting with is called Jennifer. Jennifer was not his perfect match, but somehow, some way, he's found a way to weave himself back in to get him with Jennifer, because what Tyson wants, he wants to go and get. And for me, Tyson still likes to play games because he wants admiration and worship. He has not healed his inner wounds as of such. He's a 50-year-old man who's still got childhood wounds that has not healed yet. And of course, most of us are still dealing with our childhood wounds in some respect. But the reality is that Tyson hasn't healed these things. And so admiration and worship is what he wants. It's why he kisses all the ladies on the head as he leaves the room. He likes that stuff. Yeah, he did. He kissed them on the head. He likes it because he likes them wanting him. He likes the fact that they're desiring him. He likes the fact that they're chasing him. And that's to do with the fact that he still hasn't healed that wound inside of him. Still hasn't wounded it. And until he does, he got me in the same position. Okay? He got me in the same position, fighting the same battle. Now, let me quickly talk about Titus, because the situation Tyson was also interesting as well with Ariella.
Oh, I just don't see myself signing up for Alyssa to spend some time with some guy. You are changing your dynamic so that you can mirror Tyson.
Oh, we're doing that?
Don't think organic. It's an inorganic process, right?
Now, first and foremost, Titus obviously saying he was testing. Well, first of all, I will say again, please stop this testing stuff. It's annoying. I've told you that it's manipulative. When people test people, it's manipulative, and you really need to stop it. If you're a man or woman, stop testing people. Testing means you're intentionally doing stuff, trying to see what they're going to do, so that you can make a deduction of an observation and then make a choice. But really and truly, it's entrapment. Stop it. Okay, it's manipulative, it's manipulation, and it's not healthy to do. So Titus telling us, oh, it was a test. I said, Titus, what the hell? Why are you testing? Okay, why are you testing? What for? You want to see what she's like? Just observe her. That's all. So he gives us a test. The test is obviously that he told all the ladies that were liking him that he was going to set up a rota similar to Tyson as well. Okay, Ariella was like, okay, well, I'm not doing that. That's silly. That's stupid. And guess what? You know what? You are just changing your dynamic to match Tyson's. I said, oh. I said, sis, be careful. I said, sis, be careful where you are going. Sister, be careful where you are going. Because when you start that particular talk, what you're telling us is you don't believe that Titus is his own person, that he's easily influenced by Tyson. Baby girl, when a man's got an ego, that ain't gonna go well. Okay? That ain't gonna go well. And I said, at that point, if he chooses her at the very end, I'll be surprised. I will be surprised if he chooses her at the very end, because he had a conversation with her later on and said, you spoke out in front of the other ladies in front of me, spoke basically your thoughts in front of the other ladies. But what he really needed to communicate was he felt some type of way about what she said about him in front of the ladies. By her inciting that he is a follower of Tyson, a follower, not a leader, that will insult a lot of man's ego, you know. A lot of man's ego. You know what I'm saying to you? And I said, whoa.
And somebody's gonna be waiting, just like Kat. You see how Kat be waiting for her turn? Like, I'm not gonna be that girl over here waiting for her turn. That's looking silly.
People wait their whole life for love. If they want to wait, then allow them to wait. It shouldn't bother you.
And I was like, okay, this situation, Ariel, just a little bit too much chip on your dip, as our good brother Phil would say. All right. You know, there's a little bit too much dip on the chip. And what that essentially means, okay, all right, what that essentially means is, like, for here, that she just did a little bit too much. She was a little bit too honest in this particular place. Okay. The reality is that what she should have done, as he said to her later on, was pulled him aside and said, I have concerns about this. You see, when you want to know how to talk to a king, you cannot approach a king anyhow. Okay. You cannot approach a king anyhow. It will not bode well with you. When you talk to, like, for instance, we can all say, oh, if it was a queen, I'd say whatever I want to say. You wouldn't even say whatever you want to say to Trump. So let's not. Nobody would say whatever they want to say to people that have level of status and power. And most of us would not. We would curb the way that we speak to them. We'd approach it in the right way because we know that person has power. So we wouldn't just speak to them anyhow, anyway. So when we're talking to people, especially when they talk to, quote unquote, someone like Titus, who potentially is, quote unquote, her king. Let's call it that, right? All right. This aspect of behavior, right? If he chooses to go down this path, if he thinks that, you know what, that was a good idea, I want to take that idea and also go down with it, right? And then you say you disagree with it, not a problem. The disagreement isn't the issue. The disagreement isn't the issue. Once more again, disagreement isn't the issue. It is the way you disagree. Okay, it's the way you disagree. It is how you do it, which is why later on he has a conversation with her, right? But obviously she lets us know her thoughts.
And then see what happened. And it's probably the latter.
Oh, now you in? No, I can take my own time. You just get the list together.
All right.
Do your
Go on.
the conversations about lists is over now. Okay.
And So obviously that conversation, it goes off left, right? Because it gets into a little bit of a sticky situation. Obviously, our black queen with the braids was definitely trying to piss her off. Let's be honest. She was doing what she needed to do to piss him off. Okay, all right, and she was getting under her skin. Okay, like that was it as well. Okay, you know, this is it's important. I've always said, my dad's always said something really powerful. He said, listen, disagreeing with a man is never the issue. It's what's said. There's a way to say something. It's the same way that also too, when I'm telling my partner, I'm also not going to embarrass them in public. If I disagree with you, I might say to you, hey babe, you sure about that? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And then I'll voice this later on. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I might voice it later on because I'm not embarrassed. I don't want to embarrass you in public. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'll be like, hey, look, I'm not sure about that, but okay, cool. And then after, I'll address it with you because again, I'm not exposing you to the world. That's not how I want to do things. I want to cover you. So it's just a way that for us as well, who are in a dating field, something to learn. Your disagreement isn't the issue. It's the way you do it. It's the respect given to that person that you wait for the other suitors or people who are around that area who can hear this conversation, leave them alone, and then later on. You know? Okay, so that's important as well. All right, so.
Like, that is not clean behavior. That's say if I was doing the same thing, that would not be clean behavior. So little did you know that was a test.
Only test.
Okay, yeah, because we need to know.
Ariel did have some strong words about Tyson's schedule, and
now again, I'm gonna say it again. You testing people ain't gonna help nobody. Okay, right? You may think you got a better answer, but you haven't because you had to test her. And whenever you're testing, it means you don't trust. You don't trust your own discernment. Testing comes from people who don't know how to trust their own discernment. Testing comes from people that are untrustworthy themselves usually. Testing comes from people that are manipulative. Testing comes from people who too are controlling. That's why you're testing people. Stop testing people. Your insecurity is a problem. Stop testing people. Like that's something that Titus has to work on. And I spoke about this before, that aspect of Titan, I don't know if he's actually, so I say Titan, but Titus has worked on that. Why are you testing them? Okay, why are you testing them? Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it's again, we have to work with that remit of understanding that first and foremost, we get it, we understand that people saying things, no. But when we start testing people, we're also putting them in a bad position to fail a test in the first place. So nobody wins, right? Ariela's responded incorrectly, you're testing. So actually, this is not a healthy, safe space at this moment. That's why I didn't like what he was doing. I don't like that.
And the unfortunate part about that is several of the ladies that were on this schedule could have easily taken offense. I don't want to have to be apologizing for my partner. I want to be able to applaud my partner.
At least give somebody the benefit of the doubt of saying that.
And I don't even know if he fully was able to articulate even the frustrations that he had with the way that Ariel responded. He was embarrassed by the way that she argued with the other girl. Let's just be honest. He was ashamed, right? He doesn't like that. Okay, cool. I felt like he could have explained that a bit. I don't know. He explained part of it, but I wish he would have got... He's usually quite articulate. So that's what I was wondering if he was going to explain it all. But that was the real truth. Like, he didn't like the fact that you're arguing and disagreeing, but really and truly, you don't like the fact that she disagreed with you in the way that she did, right? The fact she called you out in front of the other ladies as well, right? So I think he mentions a little bit of it as well.
Let me hear it from your perspective instead of letting me respond to my feelings.
I am a vocal person. He wanted me to pull him to the side, but ironically enough, that is not a private person. He says all his viewpoints out in the open. I would like.
Yeah, she gonna do it again. Okay, Ariel said she gonna do it again. Okay, Ariel said basically, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna do it again. Because she said, listen, I'm a vocal. Remember someone says, but I'm a vocal person. And of course, we don't know the editing. They might have asked a different question. So I want to be fair and say we can hold space that editing can edit this conversation differently. But I want to say, okay. But the moment she said, the moment she said, I'm a very vocal person, I already knew that she gonna do it again. She did not understand what happened. She did not understand what she did wrong in that space. She's smiling in his face because she wants to get him, but she's going to do that every single day of the week. It's going to happen again. Okay? All right? It's going to happen again. That's the truth. You know what I mean? Like she just smiled in his face to be like, yeah, because she wants to win, but she's gonna do it again. And like I said, when people say like that's why I don't judge you by you saying yes, I understand. I judge you by two things: one, how you explain it, and two, by what you end up doing after that. Let's see. You know what I mean?
Like a relationship to where we can share our thoughts and it's mutually respected.
I understand where you're coming from, but also it's just like a public conversation.
Okay, I'm just gonna agree to this.
Yeah.
And you see what happened here? Yep, immediately it happened. He don't like confrontation. He don't like confrontation, and not say that he's and he doesn't do confrontation, and that makes sense. I mean, if he grew up in a household he did, I can see confrontation is not going to be something he want, right? But he don't like confrontation. That's something he might have to work with, because immediately as she said, she disagreed with him and said, "Listen, hey, look, I hear you, but da, 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 da," which means what she actually also said was that I heard you, but I didn't hear you. I heard you, but I don't agree. And she should have said, "Listen, I hear you, I disagree. There's some parts I disagree with. Can I express how I feel?" Yeah, that's what she needed. And then when he heard that, he was like, If that's what we're doing, he said, "Listen, okay, do you know what? Let's agree to disagree. I'm not about to fight with you. Okay, let's keep the peace. Whenever you're in a space of let's keep the peace, I promise you it's going to be an issue." Okay. All right. So let's just be honest. Whenever someone wants to keep the peace, they are struggling to deal with the emotional dysregulation they feel when it comes to sharing a different point of view. Their thought processes are abandonment, rejection, and betrayal immediately. So they can't handle being in a place where they are emotionally dysregulated. If you're someone who doesn't like confrontation, doesn't like arguments or disagreements, and you struggle with your own regulation, you will shut down things like this instead of actually having a conversation.
I get what you're saying.
So what I was trying to figure out is why the kings are not mingling. Like, I felt like last night was amazing.
Yeah, and the kings ain't mingling. Oh crap! Sorry, I just realized what happened there. The kings are not mingling because they're being taken they're being attacked by the ladies. The ladies are not leaving them to be, boy. The ladies are just taking over them in that space. So yeah, the ladies you ain't gonna get them. The ladies are not giving them room to breathe. Ariella and Janae, even Felicia and Sarah, they're not letting other ladies breathe. They are suffocating the air out of these men. But it's a competition at the end of the day, and if you don't go and get yours, no one else is to be blamed. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Speaking of obviously Titus, the situation, I wanted to talk quickly about his situation with in the very beginning with that young lady. I can't remember her name. I always forget her name because he had another conversation earlier on.
I was raped at 11 years old and had me at 12. And my life was a train wreck. And my relationship with my mom was a train wreck. Okay,
this situation here, I'll speak about it really quickly. I don't know what the girl's name is. I want to be honest with you. The black girl's name, I don't know why I forgot her name. She had a little bit of antagonistic energy. I can't lie to you. Okay, first and foremost, all right. If that man says he doesn't want to have kids, no point pushing it. Okay, it's like when Mandem do this too. I don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. He already has 3 kids. It's not like he has no kids. He has 3 kids already. He doesn't want to have kids. My girl just kept on pushing and pushing, and I said, if you're like this now, how would you be like in a relationship? You were pushing that to the envelope, and I was like, sis, let it go. You know? Oh, what, you know, you don't want to have kids. What if the woman that you're with, she wants up? Well, that's why he's going to choose somebody who doesn't want to have kids. He's not choosing anybody that has kids. You know, you don't want to bless them with you don't. What do you mean you don't want to bless them with your? What do you mean? I said, oh, at that point, I said, nah, sis, what are we talking about here? This conversation is out left field. Let it go.
What is it?
I went through my divorce, and it was not a pretty divorce, and I felt like I would never get married again after that. I wasn't going to get a woman pregnant either.
Now, as Ty was explaining, Tari, thank you very much. I couldn't remember her name. She just pushed the envelope a little bit too much, and I was just like, where's that coming from? Now, of course, he beautifully called her out and said, beautifully called her out and said, absolutely, and then and that place, I really appreciate the fact that you shared your point of view, but he wanted to make sure that she also understood as well that she needed healing. And I thought it was a beautiful thing that he did. And I'll come to that in a second or two as well, right? I want to play a bit more of the clips so you can just see it.
Because that to me was not building a home. It's just building another broken home, and I didn't want to contribute to that because I came from a broken home.
You allowed a woman to dictate that you meet someone and say that, hey, I can't.
Now, again, this thing of saying, oh, you're gonna allow a woman to dictate. Was you not listening? I said, was you not listening? Okay, was you not listening? The brother said, listen, I came out of a relationship, the woman I had, after that, I'm not trying to make no more broken homes. That's the answer. You're going to allow a woman to dictate to you? Wait, what? These are going to become fighting words. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is about the way you address something. It's not actually what she said. It's how she said it again. It's just an addressal. It's just an addressal. It's the addressal of how you address something. It's not what's said. It's how one person says something. Because now it looks like you're being antagonistic. Do you know what I'm saying, Chu? Now it looks like you're being antagonistic rather than actually being inquisitive about the person. And this is really important to pay attention to for both men and women. When someone is investigating to try and find out more, there's a way to do it. There's a way to ask questions where you don't look like an investigator or look like an instigator, right? And that comes through sharing also your point of view. Had she said, listen, you know what? I don't understand why you didn't want to have the kids. You know, for me personally, I wouldn't want to have kids. I want to be able to this. Why for you do you feel like you don't have kids? That's a different question. When you say, you're going to make a statement before you make a question. You're going to let a woman, you know what I mean?
And give you a person that looks like me again.
Yeah.
It hurts.
You have to also understand how I came into this world.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm a product of a rape. My mom was raped at 11 years old and had me at 12. And my life.
So I get it. I know that Tara is going through her own thing. It's not a beef. It was just something to highlight again once more. There's a way that you can ask questions in a way. And I was talking about this actually with someone on a live on TikTok actually a couple weeks ago. And I was speaking about how sometimes even myself, in the past, what I'll do is that I have a therapist type of way of asking questions. And some people say to me like, it's too much. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I thought I was just being me. What I didn't realize was because the way I was asking a question, I'll be like, oh my gosh, what's going on if you did it? And I'll ask why. Oh, why does that happen? Okay, what does that take place? Oh, wow. That did it. But I wouldn't be sharing anything myself. So it looks like a therapy session because all my questions are why, but nothing's being shared on my end. That can make it look like, so when you're having a conversation with somebody and you genuinely have an intrigue, yes, there's an aspect of asking them questions, but there's also an aspect of you feeding in yourself and be like, you know what, for me personally, and she didn't personalize it. She said, but there'll be some women. No, just say you. Say you. Me as a woman, you know, I'm feeling like, actually, I want to see if I want it. You know, that's a tough part. You know what I mean? So this is another way of just doing things. That's all.
Was a train wreck. And my relationship with my mom was a train wreck. Until I was 17, I realized because I was told how I was brought into the world that all the hate that I had towards my mom.
Now, I love the fact that he's very self-aware, and I appreciate that. You know, probably the coach, counseling maybe he's done, or the therapy he's done, maybe it's been very, very helpful in that space as well. And, you know, in that particular aspect. There was something very interesting that happened. Something very interesting happened. And I know it's going to sound minuscule, but it's something I noticed. And I also, it's because of consent and because of also understanding as well. And maybe I'm looking at it too deeply now. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just more of a case of something I noticed in this instance. He says, do you want a hug? Well, listen to this.
All right. You want me to come on over and give you a hug?
Yeah, you should.
I think Tari's reaction to me having a...
Now, Sarah, while you're rubbing that man's shoulder, and I appreciate that, and he says he's asking the woman, Tari, do you want a hug? Why are you speaking, say, yes, you should go over there and hug her? We don't know what Tari wants. Let's wait till Tari says it. Let Tari answer. I think Tari has her own mind. She can answer the question. And I was just like saying that because the reason why I say that is because, again, we don't want to overstep people's boundaries and overstep anything, you know, in that particular aspect, because again, once more, it's very difficult. But in these scenarios, you want to make sure that the other person also has the ability to communicate. I've learned that because a lot of times, of course, I'm an empathetic person. And so for me personally, I know and understand that, yeah, I could go over and hug you. It seems like the right thing to do. But I'm going to ask you a question first because consent is a very beautiful thing. And number two, also because if I don't know you like that, touching you in this moment can be a very difficult situation. We've got to be very careful. So I understood what Sarah was saying. I just needed to keep quiet. You know? So that was all I was saying. Like, you know, just wait, let Tari answer. She can answer. She can tell us if she wants a hug or not. You know what I'm saying to you, and then he'll go and hug her. Like, you know what I mean? But that was a little thing. It's just something to notice for anybody out there. If you're in a difficult situation, let's ask for consent. It may seem like the right thing. Unless you know that person and you have that history, let's do that. But if you don't know that history, Mandem especially, let's leave that alone. Touching before anything happens. I know it sounds very crazy, but I'm saying that in the sense of if you don't know that person well, you know, you don't know that person well enough to make that judgment, ask them. It's a respectful thing to do as well. Okay. Okay. Now Carlos wasn't much in this episode, actually, if I'm honest with you. He wasn't much in this episode, Carlos. He had a little bit of a situation with Janae, but that was about it in that respect. So I won't go too deep on that because he wasn't actually talking much to her apart from the very beginning. But we had already seen that from the last episode. It wasn't much of a conversation. So, you know, in that space. But look, my time is up. My half an hour is up, man, and I got to be gone. But listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in for this live. I think I've got probably one more to do. We'll see. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and click on that wonderful bell button as well. Okay, we appreciate you guys. There's a lot to learn. But yes, you're right. Tyson needs to learn from Titus. Absolutely. ASAP Rocky. You know what I mean? I appreciate it, guys. Stay locked. So we'll see you again soon. Okay. Much love.